retirement? What is the ideal life after retirement? Is there something ideal or it is not? And if it is close to that, what it would be like?
Okay, so retirement can be different to different people actually. So, so one can be that we have to look at the impact to the family. So say if a person has his wife as a housewife always at home, so the wife may feel that house is her own territory, that she owns it. And suddenly if the husband decides to leave, say at the age of 40, and is sitting at home the whole day, she may consider it as an invasion to the privacy. The husband may say,
Very
no,
true.
I don't like the way you're making food. It should be done this way, or the house should be cleaned this way, etc. She may feel that. So we have to understand how is the chemistry between the people. Is it that if the person is going to be at home, it's going to be even better for them? Or are there going to be issues? If there are going to be issues, then perhaps the person may want to figure out that, okay, I'll travel for a few days. My work will be such work wherein I'm traveling, I'm not at home the whole day, or half of the day I'm going to spend outside. Or the other thing is children. If the children are pretty young, they may be kind of talking to their friends, etc., or make kind of saying that, my father is at a pretty respected profession and he's at this level, and they might
Very,
be kind of,
very
feeling pride on that. And
yes.
suddenly when they see the father being at home the whole day, and once
Yes.
that their friends ask, what does your father do? And they say, no, he's at home.
Yes.
So that can also can create an
Yes.
impact.
Sort of.
So we have to
Yes.
look at
All
these
the
things also in
aspects.
terms of society and family, and then figure out. I mean, I'll give you my own example. When I started my own work after my job, my daughter was in the fourth standard. Not in fourth. I think she was in the second standard that time.
Oh.
And yeah, right now she's in ninth. And my wife wanted to work. She used to work. So I used to go down to drop her to the bus stop, and in the afternoon again to pick her up. And I used to be the only male person in the afternoon there.
Mm,
They were all housewives actually who used to be
mm,
there, or maids used to be there. I
mm.
used to be the only male person. While nobody told me, I'm sure some of them must have been discussing कि ये क्या, ये unemployed है क्या? Wherein all others,
Yes, right.
our husbands are outside and he's here the whole day. Yeah,
Mm.
people might be thinking, because the society has not reached to that level as yet.
Yes, very true.
Wherein I knew what I'm doing right now.
Mm.
And doing it after the goals for my children were all completed. I know that they have to go for their post graduation, graduation, etc., and I have funded for that already. Now I'm
Okay.
doing what I'm enjoying. But
Mm.
those are the things we have to be aware of also.
So, I mean, did you enjoy more after retirement, or it was pre? I mean, did you have any sort of regrets that why did you go for early retirement?
I do have one regret, and I don't think I can do anything about it. Of course, I'm enjoying more just now. There is absolutely no denial of that. The only regret which I feel is, when I was in office, we used to have a lot of informal meetings wherein we used to meet for chai or for coffee. And, we used to be pulling each other's legs or just kind of talking about some of the things, which I don't do now. Because one is, of course, I have relocated now from South India, wherein I had a lot of friends there. Now my calls are with people more on a one-on-one basis, and it's more related to their finances. But of course, with friends, I still continue to talk. But then those are the things which I'm missing, actually, I would say right now, in terms of having those kind of informal chats amongst friends. Because I also need to remember that, most of my friends are still working. They still have loans to pay. And whenever I'm available, I can give them a call, but they may not be free. A lot of times they disconnect my call because they might be in a meeting. Because the people from my age group, they are still working right now. So I may be free to talk, but they may not be free to talk, which I think at some point of time, all of us need to understand, because once we continue to grow old, we need to have some good, genuine friends. And we need to maintain that relationship. How long, after all, will you continue to see your wife's or your husband's face and keep talking to them? You need some other people as well.
Yeah.
And that's why
So,
you need some friends, some genuine
very true,
friends
very
there.
true. So I would say that what have been your learnings out of this? Two things I'll ask. One, out of
Hmm.
this event and the transition of retirement, which you yourself chose to, and the learnings out of writing this book.
Okay, so the learning in terms of the transition, we have to be very, very sure. And we have to be sure that money will not be a challenge. If that is going to be a challenge, then it can be a bigger problem. And I'll tell you that if you're not working for a few years, getting back to job will become even more difficult. And of course, nowadays, the average age for the time people work in an organization is also reducing. They are much younger people actually growing much faster now. So beyond the age of say 50, it becomes even more difficult to get back to job. So it's very important to take this decision of retirement very thoughtfully. Numbers are important and numbers should be checked and rechecked. And also assumptions should also be looked at it. Inflation is one factor we should not overlook. A lot of people overlook that. Life expectancy in India is going up. It's very common for people to live beyond 85 years now. 85 is the minimum what we should look at.
I
But
suppose
the longer the better.
you cannot decide your end. So therefore, it should not be minimum, it should be maximum. Because who knows, even if 2% chances, you might be living up to 120 because the
No,
science is
no,
progressing
that's
so
why I'm
fast.
saying that's why I'm saying minimum 85 years is your life expectancy.
Yeah.
Maximum you can't cheat. It is the minimum.
So you must be
We
ready
should
for
not.
the maximum with your
Yes,
resources. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So that factor we should look at it, and that's what I help people actually, arriving at those numbers. Also, in fact, on my website, also I've shared a link where anybody wanting to have a conversation with me can have a discussion, no charges, etc., nothing associated with it. I can help people understand that. I've also explained that also in my book in terms of how it can be done. In terms of learning from the book, I would say writing of the book wasn't that difficult. It is the work I'm doing after that in terms of getting the world know that I've written the book. Selling and marketing is the most difficult. Challenges being there, but having said that, the book is actually doing pretty well. It's released on Amazon all over the world. When I did my research, when I was writing a book, I realized a lot of people were talking about money that you need to invest, only then you can retire. Nobody was speaking about what do you do after you retire. The non-financial things, because you still have to plan for 30, 40 years after retirement also. So I felt that area was something which was missing in the books, what we have it in India. There are some global authors who have written some books, but I realized that to be a gap. And that's how I chose to write on this particular subject,
Mr.
which
Rajesh,
is on the.
what would you advise the people who are thinking of writing the book and who have not succeeded so far, but many times the thought remains in our mind that we will write, but we are not able to fructify it. So, what would be your real golden advice to those people?
Okay, so one advice would be changing the mindset itself in terms of writing. Writing the book is easy. For writing, first the research has to be done in terms of what is the topic, what we want to write, what are the chapters, the topics, the subtopics, etc. One good advice which the publishers had given me was that once we start writing, we should not go back and see what we have written, because otherwise we'll want to make that to perfection and we don't really get very happy in terms of what we have written, and then slowly all the focus shifts and then we lose interest in terms of writing the book, in terms of going for the perfection.
So, in a
Yes.
way, you are saying that don't procrastinate your skill and the desire you want to. Don't check it, don't hesitate, don't fear, and don't procrastinate and do it. That is one
Yes.
thing. And another thing, I suppose, is what in our times we used to think that writing book and publishing it is a very costly affair. That is not so. So those are the, I suppose, good takeaways that it is doable provided it is on you. If you are able to put in your effort and don't procrastinate it, write it, then cost is not much a factor, which used to be at one time, because publishers will not accept it, and all those things are now much easier. That is what I suppose you mean to say it. Is
Yeah,
it so?
because nowadays, thanks to social media and digital marketing, which is happening,
So
yeah,
technology has
so
in fact improved the
not
scene
easy.
very much. Yeah. And
Yes,
I understand
yes.
you have a website also wherein you are helping many people. What's the name of your website?
Yeah, website is financialradiance.com. Yeah,
And
so,
what help people can get from that website?
yeah, so anybody wanting to understand in terms of where they are with respect to the finances or how much money they need in terms of, getting it accumulated for the retirement purpose, I can get into that one-on-one conversation. There are no charges and no obligation
Okay,
towards it.
that's a
So
great thing.
anyone can actually schedule a meeting. So you just get a Calendly link there, and then the meeting can be scheduled.
So somebody can go on your website and he can schedule the meeting with you.
Yes, yes. So all the available slots would be open,
Okay,
and whichever slot that people like to have that meeting, it can be organized.
that's great. So
Yes.
thank you, Mr. Rajesh. It was very nice talking to you, and hope your book will get popular. You said the feedback is good, and it will
Yeah.
be able to bring the kind of awareness. People in our age are shy of talking of the feelings which happen in your heart when you're retired, because you feel, yeah, we are not supposed to show our feelings. People think that I am a child. So that is one
Hmm.
thing which I suppose that dogma or that taboo has to get rid of now, with books like yours coming in the market. Thank you very much. It was very nice talking to you.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Nigam. It was great speaking to you.